I'd like to welcome you all to this special evening with Fethiye Cetin, and it's a real privilege, and I think the diverse audience we have here tonight and the large audience is a testament to Fethiye. She's really made her mark in the last 11 days since coming here, and this event is proudly hosted by Melbourne Pen. My name's Arnold Zabel, and I've been associated with Melbourne Pen for a long time and very proud to be part of Melbourne Pen. There are 145 pen centres in 104 countries, and we're one of them. And I guess the aim of International Pen is to engage and empower societies and communities across cultures and languages through reading and writing. And it was formed in 1921, but I guess the major turning point for International Pen was 50 years ago, when in 1960 a Writers in Prison Committee was set up. And this is because there was growing concern at the number of writers that were persecuted in all kinds of ways. Some were imprisoned, some were harassed, threatened, and in some cases even murdered for their peaceful pursuit of their craft. And the way in which International Pen is celebrating this 50th anniversary is, among other ways, is to have 50 emblematic cases. There have been thousands of cases over the years, unfortunately. At any given time, there are about 1,000 cases of persecuted writers and many more under investigation. And one of those 50 emblematic cases is very pertinent to tonight's conversation. Hrant Dink, an Armenian-Turkish journalist and writer and editor of the bilingual newspaper Agos in Turkey. Dink was one of a number of high-profile writers who during 2005 and 2006 were charged under Article 301 of the Penal Code, accused of insulting Turkishness for his writings that challenged the Turkish government's refusal to acknowledge that there had been an Armenian genocide in 1915. But what was very special about Hrant Dink was that he was a great advocate and practitioner of dialogue. He wanted to reconcile communities. He wanted to bring communities together. And this is the spirit in which we want to conduct tonight's evening. And it's also the spirit of Fethiye Cetin's work. She was Hrant Dink's lawyer during his lifetime, and unfortunately Hrant Dink was murdered in Istanbul on January the 19th, 2007. And it was an event which shattered many people, but out of it came something, and one of the things that came out of it was the establishment of the Hrant Dink Foundation. And Fethiye also is now the lawyer for the family, for Agos newspaper as it continues its work, and also for the International Hrant Dink Foundation. And as I said before, she's been in Australia for the past 11 days. She was invited by Spinifex Press, who published her book in Australia. And Melbourne Pen and Spinifex have been working together with lots of fantastic people, too many to thank, on a series of events and terrific support from within the Armenian and Turkish communities. And they have hosted diverse events in both Melbourne and Sydney. I was lucky enough to be at a wonderful event 9 days ago at the with the Armenian community, and they were celebrating Fethiye Cetin's work as well as commemorating Hrant Dink. And we had a great night, and as all great nights, we ended up dancing and getting to know each other. And this is, I think, this is one of the things that Fethiye has done. She's brought people together. Now, Fethiye studied law in the University of Ankara. She's worked on human rights law and particularly on the rights of minorities. She served as a member of the executive committee of the Human Rights Centre of the Istanbul Bar Association, established and represented the Minority Rights Working Group. And she is one of the initiators of the campaign which aimed to detect and omit racist and discriminatory expressions in textbooks. This work has later evolved into a bigger petition campaign titled the History for Peace Initiative, which was organised by the Human Rights Association, the Union of Teachers and the History Foundation, and received wide support for the different sectors of the society. Fethiye Cetin was arrested right after the military coup d'etat of September 12th, 1980, and was kept in a military prison for 3 years. So she certainly paid her dues, as we say. And but I think what was the catalyst for Fethiye coming to Melbourne was this wonderful memoir, My Grandmother, which was first published in Turkey in 2004. It's a truly beautiful book, and it's been translated since then into English, French, Eastern Armenian, Western Armenian, Italian and Greek. It was awarded the Prix Armenia in 2006, and there's a translation now in place into Dutch and German. And we're going to have now Fethiye discussing the book and presenting her work to you. We're proud to say that it was one of the top 10 bestsellers at the Melbourne Writers' Festival. I think once people began to see what this book is about and how beautifully it's written, and one thing which we will be looking into, but which I think is worth saying from the outset, is that this book does show the power of story to break through. And Fethiye will be speaking about this, but a story, a beautifully told, intimate story can do sometimes what political confrontation cannot. And this book has initiated a conversation in Turkey which, in a very unique and human way, which opens the way for dialogue and reconciliation. Now, after Fethiye's presentation, we're going to be doing something different. And we are going to give the audience an opportunity, that's why you're seated in this way, to reflect on Fethiye's words and story, and to think about how they affect us. And so we're going to have a conversation in these groups, a conversation and a dialogue, and then we're going to come back again and have an opportunity to ask questions and to share some of those conversations. After Fethiye speaks, I'll introduce our wonderful Secretary, Jackie Mansourian, who will conduct that part of the evening. So please welcome Fethiye Cetin. And I should say welcome our interpreter, Saadat Ozdemir, and she did a wonderful job in the last week in many occasions translating Fethiye to people both personally and in public situations. So welcome.